Team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to MDL. This is going to be the last game of the day. Kinguin going up against Team Going In to determine who's going to have a nice comfy seat in the finals and who has to play more tomorrow. You, of course, don't want to play more tomorrow. That's not a good thing. You want to win right now, so I'd recommend winning to both sides. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Rime, and he is here still with me after a long day of Dota. Dude, we got a game 3. Let's hope that this game is, high action. These games have been decent action, but we've seen higher.
Yeah, we have seen higher. We've seen some very, very low action games. The game with the Lifestealer Visage game, that was very, very high action. I prefer the games to be like that. That game felt clean, you know. Last game was like, it was almost clean, and then all of that hard work just kind of went straight out the window in the space of, 2 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope that doesn't happen again, or if it does happen again, spectacular.
Radiant team pick.
Gyrocopter is allowed to get in. We have a Terrorblade, Omni Knight in the first ban phase, as well as that Viper. So the after effects of some previously successful games showing up here in the ban department. You're like Razor still in the pool, Gyrocopter still in, obviously. Tiny is probably the biggest hero who's still in the pool right now that I've seen absolutely work over a Gyrocopter. Safe lane Gyrocopter versus that off lane Tiny. Looks like it may not be coming up just yet. It'll be a Rubik Gyro going up against Bane ET, so still you got to worry about that if you're Kinguin. But for going in, getting what I think is probably one of the stronger support duos you can get. This support duo is just so well varied.
Yeah, ET can run to your offlane. He can combo well with pretty much any offlaner and zone out supports, threaten safe laners. And Bane, well, he can go anywhere, do anything. And by do anything, I mean he can brain sap anyone, anywhere. Which is not that versatile when you think about it, but it does do a lot.
And the Rubik Gyrocopter, we've seen this time and time again in the past. Pretty simple. I'm going to lift you up into my Gyrocopter's missile, into my Gyrocopter's rocket barrage. It is definitely a significant threat. Isn't always going to be getting the kills, but it's something you do have to worry about. And we'll see what the answer is going to be. Tiny is still in the pool. I would like to see going in, pick that hero up, throw him in the off lane with a little bit of ET support perhaps, and they will do exactly that. Even though that Rocket Barrage combo does do a lot of damage, the persistent chip damage coming out from Tiny, that adds up a lot as well.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Disruptor. Alright, they're doing this Disruptor. So let's see if they can make it work a second time. Now, what do you going in go for here? They've got Tiny already. They've got one lane, which they know they're probably pretty well in with Tiny. They could also pick some generic hero that does well versus Gyro. It's Oliver and Lifestealer and Razor are both banned out, so looking through his hero pool, there's still Morphlings and things you could still pick, but Disruptor and Rubik kind of turn that away from being viable. Just looking through again, yeah, there's not. Well, they can go for almost anything, really.
Yeah, with Tiny and these supports, really both sides have a lot of options right now. Kinguin will need to prioritize a little bit more in the damage department, as Rubik and Disruptor are kind of light lifters in that regard, and they may have some difficulty in the early game as well. Like, they can do a lot of damage over time to someone like a Tiny, but when shit hits the fan, when the avalanches are going to be thrown out, when the stomps are going to be thrown out, Rubik and Disruptor will fold extremely quickly versus the setup here from going in. So Kinguin were able to get away with it earlier in the day, but staying with this type of light damage support lineup is definitely a little bit flimsy.
Yeah, you kind of have to have like this kind of meat grinder of like set of heroes that you just kind of pull things back into, glimpse back into a gyro ulti, lift back into barrage. And whatever other hero you decide to go for, you need to have like this kind of machine, that kind of kills everything you throw near it. And then Rubik and Disruptor act of these kind of like feeder heroes that just kind of feed things into it. Well, that's how it works in my head. Maybe that's a bit graphic, but you get the idea.
No, that's exactly what happens with Gyrocopter, right? Like, they just throw them into the Gyrocopter, Gyrocopter smashes them. We see that this combo worked pretty well with Death Prophet. Assuming she has Siphons, if she has Exorcism, it works really well. You just throw any given hero into her, and she's going to take care of the rest. So, here we go. Enigma. We're going for something a little bit different here. They'll get an Enigma, even though it's into a Disruptor and a Rubik. It takes some
Yep.
balls to do that, man.
They're pretty confident in this. He needs his BKB. But once he gets his BKB, there's not really that much to stop it.
10 seconds
Go for like the
remaining.
Black Hole Steel and then Black Hole himself, but you know,
5
it's not really
seconds
that
remaining.
amazing a lot of the time. But I'm skeptical of this, but
Radiant team
making
back.
sure they win their offlane. And then the Furion coming out. So this is fairly staple Team Kinguin fare, as it seems.
Perhaps shades of the first game of the day, way back when.
I don't remember that.
Dude, that was 8 hours ago. F that.
10
I'm not gonna try to
seconds
remember
remaining.
that. I just remember there was a Nature's Prophet, and I remember that Kinguin won. That's
5
that's all I gotta know. We'll have summons battling up against summons. Kinguin, as far as early on clearing out those Enigma Eidolons, they don't really have all that much power there. Flat Cannon sometimes can clear them out, but for sure, if the lanes don't match up
Dire
properly,
team
that's not gonna
back.
be happening. Kinguin definitely do have a little bit of extra offensive power here. You can pick up any given. Oh, they actually banned out the Brewmaster, which is interesting. But adding this Wrath of Nature to any sort of gank that Rubik or Disruptor start,
10
super
seconds
high
remaining.
power. We've already seen that in the first game, and just being able to zap down someone like a
5
Tiny or an
seconds
Enigma
remaining.
from that range, it's really nice to have that additional kind of Zeus-esque aspect coming out from this hero.
Yeah, the map control cannot really be overstated. But they have Bane, they have Tiny, they have ET, they have lots of ways of catching, killing him. When they start getting blink daggers on the heroes, more stuffs and things, Furion becomes a lot easier to manage. And Tiny, or by Quelling Blade, Tiny's just very good against Furion overall.
Mhm.
Like you get Blink, Shadow Blade, you kind of catch him, but we'll see how it goes. Also, Tiny does pretty well on the lane as well.
Kinguin have a lot of time here, so
What do they want to ban? What really fits with this lineup of going in?
it's really tough to say. Like,
I would go for Morphling here, probably. Even though it's like it seems pretty slow. I don't really think that this Kinguin lineup is actually that fast in terms of moving around the map and stuff. And even this versus Disruptor Rubik, you can just buy a BKB after a Lincoln's. You don't really have to worry about them too much. So I would definitely ban Morphling, provided there's a Morphling player on going in.
I'm a little bit surprised there's still no Death Prophet love or hate. It seems like it would work
Ooh.
really well with either of these two drafts.
Death Prophet could be very, very good for Team Kinguin here. It could actually be very, very good indeed.
The only downside I see it's really powerful with Kinguin. Like, they'll have that meat grinder effect. Nature's Prophet with Death Prophet works out really well since either one can, since Death Prophet can start a fight, Nature's Prophet can help out. There is a little bit of a cooldown associated
Dire
with some of
team
those tools, but it's usually negligible for the most part when you're comparing yourself to an Enigma. So they'll ban out the PA, and what that ban says to me is they have no idea what going in or going for right now. So they're just as clueless as we are, it seems.
Yeah, it could really be anything.
10 seconds Radiant team pick.
And Death Prophet, there you go.
I'm not really
It
sure where
fits in pretty perfectly. I don't know how it's got.
I'm not really sure where that brew ban came from. That seems kind of odd.
They could have been expecting mid Jericho safely, and then the offlane
10
Brewmaster.
seconds remaining.
Well, this
Chaos Knight, alright.
Choose your hero.
I think I've seen better CK games in my time, but you should be alright.
Alright, so the Death Prophet last pick obviously pushes really well with Kinguin, and they already have a decent amount of push set up already. Long range silence, making the black hole on Enigma, or the BKB black hole, much more important to have that BKB portion of it. The CK isn't really going up against a ton of conventional AoE. Static Storm is still going to cripple him. There's still Gyrocopter damage, but I would say that they're probably enabled well enough so that the CK has a decent enough time. I don't hate it. I do think this Enigma, though, is a hero that can just run into so many problems up against this draft of Kinguin. There are so many good counters to him.
Yeah, he needs to get Midas Blink BKB before he can even really play the game. So he has this early laning phase, which kind of helps him, and then he's got pretty much nothing up until that late mid game where he gets his Blink BKB. So it's going to be up to the Tiny and the CK to really pull the weight of this team for the early game.
I mean, Tiny for sure can do some serious heavy
Prepare
lifting.
for battle.
CK as well. I mean, usually we don't get to see opportunities for him to really shine and show off how much early game power he has, but if you get a little bit sloppy in your lane going up against CK, give him a little bit, suddenly he has an armlet, suddenly he's just bouncing around all these lanes, killing you. It's really, really easy to get out of control as a hero like CK. So Enigma is going to have, looks like a lane where his summons are going to be doing okay. I mean, he could battle back against the Disruptor and Rubik if they come into his lane, but for right now, they look like they're heading towards bottom.
Yep. So Kinguin is going to be Nisha going mid, and he Chaos Knight helped out Bane most likely. ET will be running over to whatever lane he can out the most, and Armin will be sitting here on his safe lane. So I wonder how this Tiny versus Fury matchup goes, because 0-1, even though it's a Tiny, probably still faces some problems against the Nature's Prophet with the trees and the Blightstone.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that would be like, oh yeah, you just cleave through the treants, but having 0 armor up against those additional 2 creeps, or sometimes 3 creeps, I guess, it really adds up a lot in that damage department. Especially if there's another hero here, either this Disruptor or Rubik, just another hero just to right-click in. Even though their right-click is, 49, 51, it's not all that high. It's still enough to add damage over time. Armin has got to be a little bit careful here, though he does have the Stout Shield, so hopefully that will help him a little bit. Mitch is going to be spotted way too far away to actually do anything about that, though. They'll try with the treants as an admirable attempt. It does seem like it's probably just going to be a little bit of a slow start and just bounty runes, lane per normal.
Oh, they're going to go for at least 1 bounty rune, right? Okay, so...
Is this a 3-1 for Kinguin? Tiny's moving in here, but Patos is already camped out on this bounty rune. Looks like it may just be a 3-1. They're going to get the Radiant jungle, South jungle. Both of the bounty runes in the bottom half of the map, so Patos is going to collect up some huge gold for the team, and I'm not really sure how much that matters in win rates or anything like that, but, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much it matters either. It's just nice. I mean, CK can't really... Well, he's going to buy himself a salve. And I don't really see how the DP can stop CK from farming, and if he enfeebles them, then I don't really see how the DP farms here either. Oh, there's going to be a lift into tower coming out.
One shot. Mitch does have the brain sap, gets quite a decent amount of HP back. But still, that is a very, very cost-effective lift there. Nisha picked up Swarm as well. Oliver is this type of hero that can run out of Siphon, but is also going to be drained out and takes a lot of damage from Siphon. So definitely a delicate balance to be struck here over in this mid lane with this 2v2 scenario. Over in the bottom lane, in the meantime, Patos is going up against Tiny, and if that lane remains just like this, he'll probably be pretty okay with it. But DNZ is camped out in the trees, and okay, Patos probably knows about it at this point. Stomp is going to be picked up, and he's just going to try to give Tiny a little bit of space. DNZ is doing quite a bit of damage in the process.
So Elder is just stuck buying sentries because he's failing to deal with camps, which is unfortunate for him. Oliver's farming pretty fine. He's got his 1, 7, and... So the lane's going to get even easier for them. And this bot lane, it started off pretty bad for Furion, and as a result, it won't get much better. And I think he may be dead. No, he's going to survive.
The treants are going to give him a lot of options to retreat, body blocking passages and stuff like that. But he'll be just fine for right now. And in the meantime, top lane Boogie, unfortunately, doesn't really have an opportunity to use his Eidolons up against anyone very useful. Like, if you're sicking them on a Rubik or a Disruptor, you're really happy about that. But up against Flat Cannon, though it is only level 1 at this stage, those Eidolons do get cleaned out pretty darn rapidly. Still, it's going to give him quite a bit of base damage to, looks like mostly, get a couple CS, get a couple denies here and there. Not really a lane where he's going to be worried at all. So it looks like this off-lane Enigma is going to have a pretty free lane with... without giving the Gyrocopter any, or too much of an accelerant.
Yeah, the Eidolons aren't really that good versus flat cannon once.
Oh, CK? That was a little bit of a late siphon. Nisha's going to get into it with the body block. Here comes DNZ. Stomp. Oh, with the reality with pullback into the stomp. And look at the damage from the Elder Titan with that one hit. It's going to give Oliver that first blood. I don't mind the play. I mean, lift up into a Spirit Siphon is really powerful, but it's only level 1 Siphon right now. That's not exactly an impressive ability. And now they land another sleep onto the Death Prophet, but Oliver doesn't quite yet have enough mana to go in hand.
Yep. I'm just looking at mid lane, very one-sided, bot lane, very one-sided. I mean, it's not quite so bad, but Boogie's getting his levels in. Stuck his boots and his Midas on his quick buy. And he should get there without incident, provided no huge moves come out from Kinguin.
The lane will get a little bit more difficult for the Enigma as more levels pick up on Exotic Deer. At least more than 1 point in Flat Cannon. It's looking a little bit mediocre right now in the Gyrocopter, but for sure Flat Cannon is going to be an issue for that Enigma to keep farming, and Call Down is the big one. That is going to let him actually threaten the Enigma's life, whereas right now the Gyrocopter can't really do that at all. So
Yeah.
he's having time of his life in that top lane, and Nature's Prophet is not doing too bad either. He's getting about on par with CS, more or less. So just that one kill, and that's just about it. 4-minute rune, Katzor's going to grab it. Although Oliver, being a Chaos Knight, is incredibly quick. He's going to yank him right back in. He is being siphoned, but Katzor is fairly well screwed over here. And Oliver, full siphon duration, still not enough damage, only being a level 2 ability. This CK showing off how much damage he could actually do if he's given the chance to participate in these early kills. And over in the bottom lane, Patos is going to get tossed an ET on himself. There is one more swing available, and they got him. Just barely.
Yeah, this lane's spiraling out of control. It's 26-10 versus 13-2. It's basically a 1v1, but with ET sometimes walking in. 5 tiny. Like, where does this Furion go? Is there anywhere? Can he TP on this Enigma? He has to, I think, if he wants to like salvage this laning phase. Because Tiny's just happy with his level 2 in tree grab and. Not great for Kinguin here. Not great.
And this Gyrocopter is still going for more and more points in Rocket Barrage. It doesn't seem like he's... I mean, he's literally in a lane versus no one right now. So Rocket Barrage seems like a little bit of a wasted skill investment right now. I don't know if I'm just thinking about that wrong, but...
If he does, it's like... It's not that bad for farming, and also... Someone comes to his lane, he can kind of make the most of it, because... Okay, you get 2 more points in Flat Cannon, okay, so you do a bit, you farm him faster, but you'll probably miss out on a kill if you end up in a fight, so... Nisha dies, and so will Elder Sash, and Mitch will die to Katsur, but I think they're okay with that.
Death Prophet is 0-1-1 right now. That was actually her first death, so better sooner than later. CK now going to smoke up. He does have to worry about his mana pool. This guy is a little bit dumb. No offense, CK. You just don't have all that much intelligence. But he's going to go down to the bottom lane. And Nature's Prophet, tell you what, does not like getting ganked. Period.
Toss CK, here we go.
Oh, there's the jump in. Dude, landing a horse on top of a Nature's Prophet, that feels pretty bad. 3 melee heroes just beating the crap out of him. Arman's going to grab that kill, and immediately CK is going to teleport back towards the mid lane. Misses maybe a little bit of CS there, but for a kill for the team, it's very much so worth it. Mitch is just right-clicking Nisha, who's currently ignoring him. There's no respect at all for that Vayne. Literally not even turning to right-click him back.
Oh, here we go. Exotic Deer's diving a bit on top. He
does have the call down. The Eidolons are going to start poking him just a little bit. Missile does land, but the Enigma's a little bit too big to actually dive right now. It does have that additional strength in the Soul Ring. 880 HP is actually quite a bit to grind through if you're a Gyrocopter. You're also racing up against those Eidolons, so it's a tough kill to have by yourself. You definitely need someone to help you, and usually that person would be Nature's Prophet, but he just used Teleport to, I guess, get back into this lane, so obviously he's only level 1, can't use it again.
No, he's doing a good job of not feeding the Eidolon. They've got 3 there, but is he going to flak for these? Yeah. He's also going to... Oh.
Immediately cancelled by the glimpse back. Still the Eidolons are firing off. The stomp is there, keeping the Gyrocopter from firing. Although the Wrath of Nature is going to clean up a lot here. Brain Sap comes into Exotic Deer, and he is now in a situation where he's got to juke for his life. Not really sure if that's a possibility right now. He's going to get revealed. A couple more right clicks, and he's going to go down. The dive unsuccessful. They do pull out the black hole, I guess, but ultimately it's a black hole for a gyrocopter kill. And, of course, that Wrath of Nature on top of it. So, very much so worth it for the Enigma to make that play.
Phase Boots picked up on the Tiny. Oh, Katsura is in trouble. Although Furian's going to TP in on the other side, but save the...
DNC is so fast.
Oh, just
he's going
about
to get
with the
sprouted
sprout.
up. And Mitch actually grabs an Invis rune in the midst of that, so he's fine. Lucky break there from the Bane.
Araman's just
for
running
Nisha,
in.
actually, 2 seconds stun with a Tiny coming in. He's going to get the Avalanche and just right-click him a little more. Toss should get the kill. In the air, in fact. Somehow CK reached that kill. A little bit of a Tiny drive-by there, and he's going to just drive right back to the bottom lane. Phase Boots already up with 4 points in the toss. Dude does a lot of damage if he's able to actually get in through Sprout and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these Phase Boots, and I'm kind of doubting the Phase Boot safe lane. There's like Bamboo swears by Phase Boots being extremely good on Tiny, way better than Try. I don't quite see it, but maybe he's right. And this is the problem with Furion versus Tiny, is you can't really put the trees in lane because... Man, he just really hits hard, doesn't he?
Radiant's middle tower is under
Easy
attack.
creep clearing for the Tiny.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Dude, 138 plus 34. Additional damage from the Phase Boots. A little bit extra damage from that Aquila as well.
There's a
Definitely
huge
little bit of a
stack here on the top
non-traditional
lane.
Tiny build here. But he's not the carry. CK's the carry. CK's got the power treads. Probably about time to start buying up those armlet parts. And he's going to get Reality Rift onto Nisha. Only a 1 second stun, however, so that is going to mean that DNZ can't get into place for a stomp.
So all space for Enigma, he's working towards Midas. Compared to the level 7 of the Furion, who drum, but he's far away from that.
Oh, but Aramen's looking for another
Nisha.
drive-by. They have the vision for the Reality Rift Avalanche. Oh my god, he's dead. He's super dead. Rubik, you don't want to do that, bro. It's a bad idea. He'll cancel his TP, and Aramen will just dive right in, get another kill. And someone was, gonna dash back to the bottom lane. Looks like CK is rearing to go. Unfortunately, he's just gonna miss that Nature's Prophet. But yeah, they're just rotating around consistently, very consistently with DNZ, who I've been very impressed with all day. And of course that Tiny, and so far, absolutely no rotations from Kinguin. That's kind of a side effect of picking up a Rubik and Disruptor as your supports. You don't really have that much kill power when you do make rotations.
Yeah, you're more like stuck in the counter ganking and kind of just pretty much counter ganking. Sometimes rotating a bit, defending towers, like punishing over aggression. Just looking at the ward coverage here, you see that Kinguin have 1 ward on the enemy secret, and that is about it, I think. They don't really see what's happening. Oh, they have 1 ward in mid lane, so they see where the Bane is. There's a smoke coming out from Exotic Deer and Elder Sash. They're running into mid. Maybe to kill this Bane and take the tower with the deep.
They've probably got him. Glimpse is level 2. We'll catch him pull back. Rotations are coming in from the Radiant, although into a Death Prophet ultimate, definitely not worth the hassle. They'll just cancel their TP, stay in the lane. DP will very quickly deal with this tower. And maybe shove it a little bit more, see what damage they can do. I don't think they can kill this tower. So they do have a Catapult and Exorcism active. It's going to be a decent amount of damage. Any counter push? Here we got Boogie pushing the top lane. He is going to, I think, see that TP back. A little bit of chip damage to that tower. Katsura is going to run to the Avalanche, tossed up into a stomp, right into the ground. And Rubik will be picked off on the retreat. But they walk in, get a kill, get a tower. Not bad at all, unless they lose Patos as well. Here comes Reality Rift from range. 3 second stun. A lot of beatdown time for this CK. We'll have another Reality Rift just about now. A little bit extra damage and gets the kill. Armlet en route for Oliver. Still, he's kind of trailing the net worth behind his Tiny, but Tiny is leading the way. And he is with Blink Dagger actually in just a little bit as the grip goes off onto the Death Prophet. Avalanche toss combo. I think that's a free kill. It will be. And the grip is stolen by Katsura right now. He will get a decent channel onto RMN that will end up killing up Mitch in the process. Armen now trying to just hide and juke. He does have phase boots. He's pretty darn fast. But the missile is going to follow him. And Earth Splitter, looking to give him a little bit of space, actually does get him out of there. They toss in Oliver onto Exotic Gear.
No.
2-second stun is there, but I don't think they have enough damage to actually kill him off, especially with the lift up onto the CK. He's going to go down before he can get into the Reality Rift, and DNZ2 will fall. As Exotic Gear just stands his ground with the Rocket Barrage, buzzing down everybody. They do escape with the Tiny, though. It's, I guess that's a success.
Yeah. Main success is here for this laning phase. 7. He's working towards BKB as his first major item, which is a disaster in almost all senses of the word. Boogie's working towards Blink now. He's got his Midas. He's starting to catch up in quite a bit. He's moving up that net worth chart. He's sitting in 3rd place. And all of these eggs for Kinguin seem to be stuck in this gyrocopter basket. And I think that will remain true until the day that he tiny comboed into oblivion. So maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. Just looking at the ward vision, Tiny's just searching. He's trying to find Nisha. Or we might find Katsura as well.
He has still that grip stolen. And Tiny will get lifted up before he can do anything. Blink Dagger now cancelled. He ditches the Avalanche, tries to run away with the Stomp there. They will be able to disengage RMN away once again. He'll blink straight out. Glimpse is available. Looks like it was already used to kill off Boogie, actually. Before. And I'm gonna... Let's very quickly... Can we restart this? I'm gonna restart this call. Hopefully we can get that back up because he's starting to fade in and out a little bit. Alright, hopefully that'll fix a couple of those issues there. Tiny gonna jump in one more time. Throws out an Avalanche. Doesn't really get anything with it. This is a really awkward timing for a CK to be fighting. You really don't want to be getting into large-scale engagements until you get at least that armlet as a CK. He's not even there yet.
Yeah, he's really fallen behind. He doesn't have... Actually, he was never really ahead. He's been sitting like roughly even with the Death Prophet and CS for pretty much the entire game so far. Araman's going to push this wave out, but he's probably going to get caught here.
The grip is still there, and he did not know about it. Immediately gonna go down despite that Nightmare, and they'll glimpse the Bane right back into a missile and kill him off as well. Nightmare now stolen on that Rubik, but yeah, the Rubik 4-position Katsura has been able to get some pretty decent steals off, to say the least. He's gonna spread the love a little bit, making sure the Gyrocopter is definitely getting involved in these kills, but getting some additional gold for those supports. Getting towards actually level 8 on the Disruptor, so he has maxed out Glimpse at this stage, level 9 on the Rubik. He's not doing too terribly for himself either. Getting these kills is all well and good. Still, we have to worry about this Enigma, who honestly hasn't really started to seriously play the game just yet. He needs a couple more items.
Oh, he's in the path of the smoke gank, as is Oliver. They've warded the enemy jungle. They placed it right next to the shrine. And Boogie is farming right in the way, but maybe he'll get out. They see these Eidolons farming. Are they going to commit to this? They've still got a while left on the smoke. And they're going to take Oliver for free.
Call down Static Storm. He actually gets out of the field. Glimpse is way back in.
Oh, he dodged Glimpse.
He is actually going to be jumped on and killed off. The toss is going to get glitched out to all hell, but the Black Hole is now stolen by Katsura. Is going to land onto 3, including our men, who's going to get buzzed down as well. I didn't even see that initial Black Hole casted. It was canceled so quickly. And now Exorcism is up, so this tower is going to be falling at least. Oh, that was not a good fight at all for going in, and now they're going to lose a tower on the bottom lane and mid lane, and even the top lane. That's why you don't pick up Enigma into a Rubik.
Yep, they fought before they were ready. They need more items. They need the armlet on CK. They need... Well, Tiny's got his blink, but it's a question of can he really do anything with it. The armlet is up on CK, no Blink Enigma, no BKB, Bane, ET, not really much to speak of in terms of items. And we can see that Boogie is saying I took 300 damage for Black Hole, and Patos confirming that he read that with the affirmative. So overall, good communication between these two teams. Good to see.
It's all about manners, man. Win, lose, as long as you're a good sport about it. Yeah, that Enigma I mean, even if you do have a BKB, you still get that spell stolen. Still is real bad times there. Glimpse back onto someone. That's Mitch. Straight into a silence from the Death Prophet. Is going to try to TP out. The damage is just enough. Get the kill on the Bane. Pretty nice one there from Kinguin. But this Gyrocopter, man, he's got the drums, he's got the S and Y, skyrocketing in the net worth compared to everyone. And at this point, even the Nature's Prophet's starting to pick up the slack as well, as NPs typically do, with Orchid right around the corner. So yet another disable that Boogie has to worry about for his black hole.
Yep. It's just a lot of stuff to kind of throw in. DP's working towards the yours now, level 12. Okay, they have the level 2 DP ulti. They've got 9k gold lead. Patos is going to explode.
Eventually. There you go. Arrow TP's in. He's going to stick the landing, looking to buzz down some of these Eidolons. Get quite a bit of cash from those. BKB is en route for him as well. Losing the Nature's Prophet there, of course, isn't great for Kinguin. But for the going inside, they get the kill on the Nature's Prophet, and with 4 heroes in this top lane, kind of awkwardly stand around for a little bit, not able to get anything immediately afterwards.
Yeah, they need to stay together because otherwise they'll get caught out, but they can't really farm if they do that, so they're kind of stuck in this halfway house of trying to spread out as much as they can while also covering each other from ganks. And now CK does have the armlet, and he is going to go farm bottom, so he's going to try and take advantage of the space. And Kinguin are going to smoke gank into someone here.
Well, here comes the smoke gank, and they will run straight into 2 heroes. One gets lifted up, that's the ET, and he is in a lot of trouble right now. He's going to go down for sure. Chasing forward for a little bit more, perhaps? I can't quite do it. Boogie does take down the tower in the meantime, and will be able to escape. Patos sees him leaving. Can't do anything about that. Just a big smoke gank for an ET.
Yeah, he's doing pretty... like, he's just having a really rough game. He started off okay, got some good moves in laning phase, but now it's just rough as heck. Blink coming out on the Death Prophet. Also Blink finished on Rubik. Disruptor also has a Blink. Everyone's just kind of got Blinks on this Kinguin side now. Apart from Gyro, he's working towards his BKB. Orchid almost out as well. Honestly, I think that going in are okay as long as they can just calm this game down and farm this BKB on Enigma. Once they get that, the game gets a lot easier because then they have reliable disable that they can kind of go in afterwards with the CK. They need these 2 BKBs. Once they get those, the game gets a lot easier. There's just so much catch.
Slowly but surely. The Enigma, his BKB is coming up. The CK as well. Probably matched by BKBs on the other end as well. As the Gyrocopter and DP are all rushing for Magic Immunity. But the Enigma needs to start doing something in this game. Because again, he hasn't really been able to contribute at all. Which is, I mean, just a side effect of being Enigma, man. Sometimes there are games where you're just free to cast Black Hole. This is definitely not one of them. He's working with a lot of net worth, in fact, the most on his team. But this is not the type of hero where net worth immediately translates into we're winning the game. Like, that's more like Gyrocopter.
Yeah. Gyro is one of those heroes that just converts money into damage. Enigma's like, you need money and you need a lot of skill and a lot of luck sometimes to make it work. You need the right situation, basically.
Static Storm goes off into the CK. Armlet or not, he's going to get siphoned out easily. And they're right outside that tier 3 on 2 lanes. I think the bottom wave is much bigger, actually, so let's rotate down there. Time to pop some ghosties, and without a CK, not really sure if they have enough damage to actually do anything here. Maybe a Blink toss back? Well, that would have been nice if that was the Death Prophet instead of some random creep. And now the missile lands onto the ET flat cannon, kind of just destroying him from a range. He's going to get glimpsed right back in, and now he's going to get picked off by the final flat cannon shot. They are also going to grab that Bane and buzz him. He's going to get reality rifted back by Katsar. A little bit of movement manipulation, but that's some easy killing from Kinguin. Absolutely no threat to them whatsoever. And that's going to be a clean in Rax and get out on, it looks like, absolutely everybody.
Yeah. There's not really anything they can do. I'm looking at why this happened. If you look at what happened, like, Tiny was completely free farming this game, right? He had like 100 CS at 15 minutes. And he bought phase boots and a blink, and then he got maybe one pick off, and then he killed the CK by tossing him in, and then since then hasn't really been able to do anything. I think maybe if he'd gone like Tread Shadowblade and then tried to split the map, made people a bit more scared to roam around and was more of a map like presence, maybe it would be better than this, but it can only really like pose the question. I can't really say for sure because you just don't really know. Nisha's he's got his A on disc, so he's gonna get his ulti off most fights.
It also kind of feels like
DNZ's caught.
maybe for going in they can catch the old Titan. Maybe for going in, it's the fact that CK, his farm rate in the lane was, I mean, as you expected against a Death Prophet lane, it was not quite as fast as CKs normally are. That armlet felt really, really late, and I mean, you can do a lot of damage as a CK just with your base abilities, but you do need that armlet if you're going to scale into actual fights. When the fights were actually coming, he just didn't have that armlet. Simple as that, so getting picked off
Now he's sitting at half the net worth of Gyro. And speaking of Gyro, he's got his BKB, he's got his SMY, he's hitting Roche, he's going to have an Aegis now. And the next Death Prophet ulti is up in 15 seconds. They're probably going to go take the tier 2 for free and then go up high ground. Really depends how they want to do this. I think the BKB is finished on Enigma, so there is a chance, but with that, there's still the steal to worry about, there's still the Death Prophet ulti, there's still the Gyro Aegis. There's so much to play for with this Black Hole, to aim for, to try and stop that. They need a miracle, I think, here. 14,000 gold in 24 minutes. It's hard to come back from that without some amazing shit happening.
Even with your absolute perfect Black Hole, there's a very low chance it lands on Rubik inherently. The Death Prophet has that disc, so I mean, you're going to drop her and proc that combo breaker in the midst of it. She's still going to be disabled, but you just can't kill her. And the Gyrocopter's a double life. And then, even if you do win that fight, you're going to have to be facing up against the split push of Kinguin. The Black Hole cooldown is so long. Like, you only get one of those fights every so often. They will find and probably kill out Patos. He's got a Force Staff, actually. He's just okay. As Tiny now has got to bail out, and he will get up before the Glimpse can come in.
If they caught the Tiny there, that would have been huge.
Close brush with death from both sides. But it will be Patos to survive, and still it is Kinguin with all this momentum. They do probably at this point know that this Enigma has the Blink BKB. Okay, now they definitely know about it. But they're going to go in onto DNZ first. The Reality Rift going to keep them in the midst of this fight with the Glimpse there as well. So much movement manipulation here from Kinguin. And now it's time to tank that Black Hole. Let's see what this Enigma can do.
Olive is just running around trying to farm his BKB. He's just going to accept that he's going to have to time gold this recipe. But keeping the Enfeeble on the Gyro is really important here, actually.
They've lifted up Tiny into almost a static storm call down.
The push has been delayed. This is a saving grace for going in at this point. They're going to settle for killing the Shrine and farming a bit of the enemy woods. Gyro's going to get his level 18, and he's also going to get the Eagle Song, probably. Depends if he really wants it. He probably does. I like having damage.
I heard damage is good on this hero. I heard damage is good in this game, actually. CK does pick up that BKB finally, so he's actually able to do some damage in these fights, but I mean, the right-click damage, the physical damage, rather, of Kinguin is not to be scoffed at, so even though he may be magic immune, he is still very, very vulnerable, even in that avatar form, so it's an absolute necessity for sure, but it's not going to be the end all. The RMN Tiny is going to blink after Elisash, but he has a blink dagger of his own. Silence goes off into the Tiny now as Nisha's going to jump right in with the Ghost active. He does have that disc. He's going to keep him safe. Boogie's going to get into the Black Hole. Does land it only onto the Gyrocopter, and they do have the Grip as an option as well, but Exotic still not dead just yet. Is going to unleash all the Flat Cannon shots, including a Black Hole stolen by Catcher in the background. That's 4 down in an instant, and Boogie's going to be the last to fall. That's only going to cost them that Aegis, and GG is called. GG. Wow, that tankiness on Nisha and Exotic Deer. Defying expectations. Aeon Disc is a real item.
Yep. it's just they couldn't kill anyone with a black hole. When black hole is all of your damage, pretty much the tiny safe lane, it started off well. It didn't really pan out. The CK was struggling the entire game because he couldn't really get much farm in the lane, and then he wasn't given much space in the game. And Kinguin did what Kinguin do. They pick some good heroes, they pick some good lanes, they make a few moves, take a few towers, and then they snowball that into a win. And it felt kind of clinical from them. And I'm just not really sure where this Enigma pick was meant to really have its impact. But maybe we'll see it later. And I think they're playing in the lower bracket, but there's best of ones down there, so that's a bit scary.
They're actually not in a best of one. They're in a best of 3.
Oh, they're in the best of 3. Oh,
yeah, it's the wait. Yeah, they're in the best of 3.
So it's the people who lost in the last round that are in the best of 1.
Yes.
Oh, spooky.
That's not something you really want to be in, best of 1s ever. But yeah, I mean, the Enigma definitely had a little bit of a lack of impact. Seems like the CK was a little bit slow coming out the gates as well. And Kinguin, yeah, they were just absolutely all over the place. Seems like this Disruptor Rubik opening certainly does work wonders for them. But guys, this is going to be the end of the day for the European qualifiers here for the Mars Dota 2 League. This is Group B. We have Kinguin now passing into the playoffs. And going in are going to be waiting the winner of SQG versus Mad Lads. And then they're going to be playing them for their chance into the playoffs as well. And we are done for the day. It's been a super long day of Dota. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoy the game, be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, for the conclusion of Group B. Thank you so much, Rime, for joining me on this lovely day. Guys, you can follow him at Rimedota on Twitter. And you should definitely do that because he was here for 9 hours too. He deserves your follow.
I wouldn't ever say deserved, but other words, thanks for having me, and yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Congratulations to Kinguin. We'll see you guys tomorrow.